Welcome to another edition of Play Branson. My name is Chris Meyer, and I have Haley Westrich here with me as well. And we're so glad that you guys are here today watching another episode. This is a show where you're going to get to know the entertainers better, and we're going to give you tips on your Branson vacation and what's going on in Branson. So Haley, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
Good.
This is fun to be here again.
It's very exciting.
So, we shot last month some shows, and that was our first time, and so we're still first-timers,
Yep.
but we're still here. Lots of shows starting to open now, as well as attractions.
Yeah, we have the Branson Segway Adventure Center opening up this coming weekend, so that's a great place for families to go. It's really one of the only attractions where families can come and just free ride the Segways. So that's really going to be fun for families. We also have a ton of shows opening too.
So yeah, there are lots of shows that are opening this next week in Branson. So Pierce Arrow opens on March 3rd. The Hamner Variety Theater, and those shows there open March 3rd. Moses, the last season of Moses, opens March 3rd. And then the Showboat Branson Bell with some brand new shows will open on March 4th. So as spring rolls around, everything starts to open. And really, if you're sitting at home right now and you're saying, where should our family go on spring break? I'm telling you, Branson is an incredible place to come here on spring break. And there's lots to do. And I think a lot of times people, when they're thinking about spring break, they're thinking Orlando, maybe they're thinking someplace else.
Right.
But give us a couple of reasons why people should maybe come here on spring break.
There's just so much to do for all ages. I mean, with spring break, families coming down, they can see a ton of shows, a lot of varieties, go to any attractions that'll be opening soon as well. In fact, one of the most awesome shows in town here is Six, and they just opened yesterday, and we are honored to have a guest from Six with us here coming up as well, too. So after the break, be sure to stay tuned because we are going to welcome Six, and with our guest, Jack.
The award-winning Quality Inn West. It's the closest hotel in Branson to Silver Dollar City and near Branson's IMAX complex. Relax in the indoor pool or hot tub. The hotel offers relaxing queen rooms and 2-room suites. Enjoy each morning's free hot breakfast inside or out on the patio. For more information or to make reservations, call 800-443-8694.
Welcome back to Play Branson. Today, our guest is Jak Knudsen with Six. Jack, it's great to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, Chris.
So
Thanks for having me.
I know you kind of stepped out of some of your rehearsals to come over today, and so we really appreciate that.
Yeah, 'tis the season right now for 10-hour rehearsals.
10-hour rehearsals.
Yes.
I don't think people realize probably how much you guys go through in a rehearsal process.
Well, it's the heavy rehearsals usually, at least for us, it's before the season starts. Bring in our choreographer, bring in our comedy writer, our producer, if we need to, and we start piecing together a show, and that happens usually in January, and or sometimes at the end of the previous year.
Yeah.
And you just go to work and try to figure out a concept and build around that and launch on March 1st.
March 1st. And you guys launched yesterday. And so was it exciting?
It was. Nobody died, so yes, it was great.
That's awesome. So let's go back and let's talk about your history. How did Six get started? And tell us a little bit about that.
For those of you who are not familiar with Six, we are a family of 10 boys. Our parents wanted a girl, or they didn't have cable, something like that. I'm not sure what happened.
They tried a long time to get that girl.
They tried for a girl, and they ended up with 10 boys, and I think the light finally went on that it wasn't in the cards, so they stopped. But our dad was really inspired and by groups like the Osmonds and the Jacksons and even the television groups back in there, like the Partridge Family and all that stuff. There seemed to be this big fascination in the 70s with these family singing groups, at least in America. And so he noticed he had a bunch of boys, and we liked to go around humming and singing, and he noticed we could harmonize naturally. So he started wrecking our summers and teaching us, making us practice. Our first rehearsal was 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
That's when we knew this was going to be a serious thing, and it paid off. 2 years later, we were on national television, and we were poised and ready to just be superstars. And I remember we went and did a tour out, like all the amusement parks in Southern California, and one person recognized us.
And so, wait, but here's the thing you didn't mention is what show was that?
It was the Osmond Brothers.
Wow.
It was the Donnie and Marie show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a popular show back in the 70s, and we were little kids. We didn't know what we were doing, but I mean, it was a good experience to do that. And then, you know, success just wasn't going to come that easy for us. So we kept plugging away, and we got involved in barbershop, the big barbershop society that's out there. Started competing in those contests and doing pretty well in those. And that by that time, I think I was in junior high school, and every weekend we'd be gone, you know, somewhere out of state doing gigs. And
did you like it back then, or was it like
it was
like
a mixed
forced
bag?
thing?
I mean, well, a little of both. Our dad was kind of old school. He made us do things.
That's hilarious.
So we didn't enjoy the practicing part, but getting up in front of people and hearing the applause, that's always, you know, that's always a great moment of gratification, I guess. But, you know, it was a lot of work. It's been a lot of work. We went through that whole thing, and then I think we got kind of burned out in the mid 80s, and we actually quit. And Kevin had just gotten married, and he'd moved out from Phoenix to Southern California with his new wife, and he ran into some old friends of ours who were street performing, and for some reason we were really enamored with that whole concept.
That's interesting.
And so we got together, I think it was January of '87, met up down there, and just to try it. And it was enough of a thrill for us that it motivated us to, okay, we're gonna move out here in March of 1987, and we're gonna hit this hard. So we did that, and gosh, it was crazy. I mean, we would practice all day long, and then we'd go go down to Los Angeles and sing at the various theaters when people were getting out. There was about 3 or 4 we'd hit every night, and
were you doing this then for tips?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we'd get tips. We'd go buy our top ramen the next day and eat. We were living in the back of our truck, staying at a park and ride, and then Kevin and his wife had their apartment. We'd go sneak over into their apartment and shower until his manager found out and said we can't do that anymore. So I mean, it's crazy to think back on all the crazy stuff. If our mom would have known, she was in Arizona, she would have known what our actual living circumstances were. I mean, she would have had a fit. But that was before cell phones, so you get to call home like once a week, you know, and long distance was like $400, you know, to make a 20-minute call back then. Remember those crazy long distance bills, so nobody called. So we talked to our mom occasionally, and we'd say we were doing great, which we thought we were, but I mean, anybody on the outside would have thought, what's wrong with these guys? Why aren't they going to college?
So that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we got hooked where music kind of got hooked into us. We kept plugging along. We got hooked up with several great people out there in Southern California. Bob Duncan from the Diamonds, he helped us out for a while, and we actually were the Alley Cats for a couple of years.
Okay.
Toured as the Alley Cats with a full backup band, and that was kind of interesting. We always joked that we were has-beens before we even got started, I mean, we'd go out and do our big hit, Alley Oop. I mean, none of us were even born when that song was written, but people really psyched about it. It was kind of funny to be going out as the Alley Cats back then. But
Well, tell us.
or no, was it? No, it was not the Alley Cats. It was what the heck was the name? It was the group that did Alley Oop. Remember that?
I don't.
How old are you?
46.
40. You should remember that at least. It's Alley Oop, 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 and then he did the what was the other one? I can't remember, but this shows you how old I am now. But
So yeah, I was like, he asked me you asked me how old I am. Now how old are you?
46. I'm 5 years older than you.
Okay.
So it's
See, most people wouldn't think that.
really.
Yeah.
What do they think? 70?
No. No.
Well, tell us a little bit how you all ended up here in Branson.
Well, so we did that, and we got involved in the whole corporate market. Did that for several years, and then we started doing cruises. We did that for almost 10 years, and then 9/11 happened, and we decided we didn't want to travel anymore. We were stuck outside of the country when that happened, and it was pretty nerve-wracking. So we set a goal to go to Vegas, and as we were in Phoenix, that was a pretty close place that we'd never heard of Branson. So we went to Vegas and played there for 4 years, and then in 96 or 2006, I should say, our deal ended, and we were trying to figure out where we're going to go, and Branson just kind of came out of nowhere. Even our producer, he goes, "Hey, have you guys thought about Branson?" We all
Had you heard of Branson at that point?
I think we'd heard about it a few times,
Yeah.
and didn't know much about it other than what I think a lot of people think about it. It's, at least at the time, was just where a lot of old people go, and so that was kind of our thought about it, and so we hadn't really considered that, but we came out in August of 2006 and did a showcase at the Hughes Brothers Theater, and I want to say it was a God thing. Everything just seemed to just start locking into place, and I think you've been around long enough. When things are right, they just kind of click into place.
It just happened.
It's a nice progression forward. And when they don't, then you get all sorts of things happen and it doesn't work out. But everything just started working out, and so we did that. We felt really good about the reception we got, and so we decided let's move out.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we're going to be back in just a moment, and we're going to hear more from Jack on with 6, and just watch this, and we'll be right back. We're here with Jak Knudsen from the group 6, and Jack, I happen to have a picture here. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but this is you, and kind of explain what that picture is there.
That's me and my amazing boa on my green box.
And so I don't think they will see that anywhere else in Branson.
No, they probably won't see it this year. I don't know if we're going to be doing that routine this year. But that was a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah. I took that actually at the show.
You did,
and
huh?
so and that's one of the things, like, I think, like, if I had to describe somebody crazy, and this is not a bad thing, but you're like the craziest guy on stage of probably anybody in Branson.
You know where I honed my craft?
I do. I think.
In ISS.
That's not what I would have said.
In school suspension. I spent a lot of time in school suspension. I was a total smart aleck in high school, and
but I heard you were also like the drama king.
Yeah, I was in drama. I love drama.
You had some lead roles,
Sky
right?
Masterson and Guys and Dolls.
Yeah.
We did the Star Spangled Girl. That was a cast of 3. We did that in a theater around theater. That was probably my favorite thing I've ever done as far as drama in high school.
But you're kind of the brothers, and you're kind of the crazy one in the
Yeah.
show, especially. And
Yeah.
is that true? That's true to life, or like, do you guys all have your own kind of different
I
roles
like
and personalities?
I like to keep my kids guessing.
Yeah.
You know, is Dad really nuts? It keeps them on their toes.
Yeah.
No, I've always enjoyed just having a good time. That's kind of my personality.
And it shows in the show. So tell us a little bit about what people can expect when they come to the show this year.
Well, there's 6 brothers, and we make all the sounds with our mouths. It's there's no instrumentation. There's no backup tracks. It's 100% vocal, completely 100% live show. And there's, like I said, 6 brothers. There's about 8.5 years span of between the 6 of us. We do a huge variety of music, everything from country to gospel to Metallica.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I remember one year I went to the show and I heard Van Halen.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, man, you never hear that. I was like totally
every year
blown away.
I always try to talk my brothers into, we got to do a Metallica song a cappella style. I'm still working on it, but
Did you guys take like a vote or something like?
well, sometimes we're a 6-headed monster democracy. If we get 4 votes for something, it's a go. And
That's
the
pretty
other
cool.
the other 2, they just have to live with it. We've all been those 2, incidentally. No, there's a couple of songs that were presented this year that I personally was kind of, but now that we've gotten in and started rehearsing them and putting them together, I'm like really jazzed about some of the stuff that I wasn't really excited about when we were putting stuff together. Just to hear how some stuff comes together really well. You got to be tricky because a cappella, 6 voices, it doesn't always translate when you're taking a full band and then trying to do it with 6 voices. Some stuff really crosses over well, and others you'll get about halfway into it and realize we got to pull the plug on this one. This one isn't going to work. One thing that I never thought would work was Motown doing a cappella because it's always a lot of horns, a lot of guitar, and a lot of you can't cover all that with 6 voices very well. At least that's what I thought, and that's always been a really big strong number that we've done. But this year we're really excited. I'm really excited about our opener and our closer. The closer, I think, it's such a classic. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
No, they got to go see it.
You got to come see it. But it's a great classic song, and I get goosebumps when we're singing it. So that's when I know when we're on the right track is if we're up there getting goosebumps from what we're singing, then I think the audience is going to as well.
Yeah.
And we're putting in some new stuff. Our show is this is constantly evolving production. Every year we always try to add at least 6 to 10 new things into the show, and then that helps. Like the comedy evolves, everything.
Yeah, and you're really funny in the show as well. But here's the thing that is really big and new for you guys is you have moved locations.
Yes.
And so we need to let the folks out there know like where are you guys going now, and what's your schedule kind of look like?
Well, we've been here. This is our 11th season. We spent 5 years at the Hughes Brothers. We had a 5-year contract there, and then we went to the Mickey Gilley Theater for 5 years, which is 2 doors down. We had a 5-year contract there, and now we've gone back to the Hughes Brothers, which is 2 doors down. We're not big on.
You don't move very far.
No, we don't like that. I mean, it's not like we have a lot of instruments and stuff to move, but we hate moving.
You know, I think when you guys came to Branson, like there was a big difference in your show than other shows because you really weren't a country show.
No.
And it was kind of a new style, and I think people really, they like to see variety, and you guys definitely are a totally different show than really anything else in Branson. And I mean, I'm always amazed when I go because, like, you hear a whole band, but there is no band, and it's you guys, and that's just a unique talent that is just amazing.
Well, it's kind of grown a little bit over the last few years with you've got Pentatonics out there. I mean, they've become superstars as far as a cappella groups go, and the Sing Off and Glee's done a lot of a lot of a cappellas, and then the Pitch Perfect movies that came out. So a cappella has become a lot more widely known. It's a challenging genre of music to perform, especially when you're sonically, and then you've got to visually do stuff other than just stand there and sing. It's nice to stand there and sing and you get a nice solid sound, but then you start dancing and moving, and it's hard to keep everything when you're moving around. So,
and I think that's, to me, I'm always amazed, number one, that you can remember all the words to the song, but then you guys have to remember all those steps. And there's a lot that you guys are doing up there. I don't think in the audience people realize what it takes.
Our choreographer is brutal. It's his old school swing guy out of Redlands, California, Buddy Schwimmer, and he's always just telling it's not his problem. Yeah. When we're complaining about that, how are we supposed to sing when you're with this dance step? It's not my problem. He's like, I'm okay. He's really, we started working with him when we were out in Las Vegas, and he really pushed us. We thought there was no way in heck that we can do all of this movement and carry on a sound, and somehow your body will figure out how to do it.
Yeah. I feel like we're only scratching the surface here, but we have to end this show today, and so I just want to tell you thanks for coming out.
Oh,
and
great to be
I know
here,
as
Chris.
you're opening the show that this was probably like one of the worst times for you to come and hang out with us for a while, but
actually it's a nice break. We've been practicing for 10 hours every day, so this is a nice break, actually.
So we appreciate that, and folks, once again, if you're coming to Branson, be sure to see 6. It's not 5, it's not 7, but it's 6, and that you'll see 6 brothers doing an amazing thing with their voices. You'll have a great time at their show. And if you want to get their show tickets, be sure to go to ibranson.com or call 1-877-ENTERTAIN, and we'll look forward to seeing you on another episode of Play Branson. Have a great day.